Good morning. We acknowledge that we are in the traditional lands of the Blackfoot Nations, which includes the Siksika, Piikani, and Kainai First Nations, as well as the Yethka, Nakota, Wiskautabay Nations of Chiniki, Bearspaw, Goodstoney, and the Tsuut'ina Nation. Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, including the Battle River Territory. We recognize and thank all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples who have lived on and cared for this land for generations. Thank you for joining us. Today we have an update on the Bearspaw South Feeder Main. We will be hearing from General Manager of Infrastructure Services, Michael Thompson, and Mayor Jeremy Farkas. We will hear the remarks and then there will be an opportunity to ask questions after. I will now turn the podium over to General Manager of Infrastructure Services, Michael Thompson.
Good morning. I'm Michael Thompson, General Manager of Infrastructure Services. Thank you for being here. Today I have the update you've all been waiting for. Water is flowing through the Bearspaw South Feeder Main. The system is stable and effective immediately. All water restrictions are lifted. Thank you, Team Calgary. Over the past 3.5 weeks, Calgarians and our regional partners in Strathmore, Airdrie, Chestermere, and Tsuut'ina Nations took meaningful action to reduce your water use every day. I know it wasn't easy, but let me assure you, those actions mattered. By taking action, you allowed us to safely run the Glenmore treatment at an increased capacity and to keep our underground water storage tanks full so that we had the water available when emergencies arose. And they did arise. We had other water main breaks and a number of fires, all of which used large volumes of water. But because of your actions, we were able to get through these emergencies safely. This took a team, all of you being water heroes in your own ways, to look after each other and the community. This is our city and our region at its best. On behalf of the water utility, city administration, thank you so much for your actions to support our community. Since we stopped the flow of water through the feeder main on March 9th, city crews have completed a significant amount of work to stabilize the pipe. This included reinforcing the 9 highest risk segments of the feeder main by installing reinforcement steel, pouring and curing concrete, backfilling and paving to restore those work areas, replacing valves that were not fully operational, and carefully refilling, testing, and returning water flow through the pipe in a controlled way. With water now flowing through the pipe, we are once again able to move the water needed from the Bearspaw Water Treatment Plant to your taps. As of today, you can resume normal water use. Outdoor water restrictions are lifted, and indoor water conservation is no longer needed. Surface work is expected to be complete today, and detours will be removed through the weekend. Recreation facilities are returning to normal operations. Hot tubs and kiddie pools are being refilled and will reopen as soon as they're ready and safe for use. While today is a positive step forward, it's important to put in context, and I want to be clear about the expectations going forward. We are not planning additional restrictions until the fall, when we will need to shut the pipe down again to connect the new replacement pipe. But the existing pipe is still terminally ill. Although this phase of reinforcement work is complete, we cannot guarantee that the pipe won't break again. If another break occurs, water restrictions will once again be required. If there is anything we learned on December 30th, it's how fragile this pipe is. This is why staying informed and staying prepared continues to matter. The best way to stay informed is to watch the news, follow the city's social channels, visit calgary.ca for updates, and download the Alberta Emergency Alert app. We will continue to provide timely updates as work progresses. While restrictions are lifted and normal water use can resume, This experience has been a reminder of why everyday water-wise habits matter. Simple actions like always running full loads of laundry and dishes, fixing leaks in your homes and businesses, and being mindful of outdoor water use all help support the community and also reduce your water bill. As we head into spring, the city's Rain Barrel Rebate Program is available again this year. This program lets you apply for a $50 rebate after you have purchased a rain barrel. Rain barrels can help capture rainwater for your yards and gardens to reduce the use of treated drinking water. Using a rain barrel is a voluntary, everyday action, but when thousands of homes take this step, they make a real difference. You can learn more about rain barrels and the rebate program at calgary.ca/rainbarrel. There are many more simple actions people can take to keep their homes and businesses water efficient. And please visit calgary.ca/savewater to learn more. I'll close where I started. Thank you. Thank you to the operators, the contractors, the staff in the Water Center, and all of the staff across the city who have worked so hard to get us to this point. Thank you to the residents and businesses in the communities of Bowness, Parkdale, and Montgomery. I know this has been a lot, and we still have a lot of work to do this summer, but we are eternally thankful for your support and your grace. And again, thank you, Team Calgary. Your actions have made all the difference. I'll now turn it over to Mayor Farkas.
Good morning, and thank you, GM Thompson. Well, Calgary, you did it. We did it. Over the past 24 days, each and every one of you stepped up and gave our crews the time they needed to complete these critical planned reinforcements on the Bearspaw South Feeder Main. Together, we reduced our water use. Together, we kept our system stable. And together, we ensured our city could get through this frustrating shutdown and get this work done. This is the critical water artery that carries roughly 60% of our city's drinking water. And ever since the pipe first broke on December 30th, we've known that we are living in a new reality. One where this feeder main is critically compromised, and yes, one where it could fail again at any time. That remains true today. These reinforcements do not mean that we are out of the woods. They do not mean that the pipe is fixed permanently, and we cannot afford to become complacent. We cannot afford to become complacent. What it does mean, however, is that we've taken important proactive steps, reinforcing 9 of the most vulnerable sections identified as weak points to help stabilize the system while we work toward a permanent solution. But let me be clear, this is not perfect. Right now, it is about doing the best we can to limit risk, but we cannot eliminate that risk until the new pipe is online. That's why we are moving at lightning speed to build that replacement line. And we will be having one more planned shutdown of the existing line later this fall. But because of the professionalism, hard work, and focus of our crews, and because of Team Calgary and our understanding of what's at stake, we are taking what would normally be a 4-year project and delivering it in less than 1 year. And until that new pipe is online and complete, we are still relying on a single aging piece of infrastructure for the majority of our water. This is the reality that we live in. But because we came together, because Calgarians came together, because we acted as one team with Chestermere, with Strathmore, with Airdrie, with Tsuut'ina, we were able to get through these planned reinforcements successfully. And not just successfully, our crews were able to restore water flow a full week ahead of schedule. That is extraordinary. So I want to say thank you. Thank you to the crews working around the clock in sometimes difficult and grueling and unpredictable conditions. Thank you to the city teams who coordinated every single moving part of this effort. And thank you to everyone helping to deliver what will be the fastest major infrastructure project in Calgary's history. But most importantly, Thank you to every Calgarian. You made real changes in your daily lives. You conserved, you stepped up, and because of you, you helped our city meet this moment. Thank you all. That is what this city is all about. And before I close off on our final planned media availability, I just wanted to give an explicit shout out to a number of business units and groups here at the city who helped bring us to this momentous occasion. I wanted to acknowledge our amazing support team from Calgary Fire, who's often behind the camera and never in front, but despite that, every single moment that we've been in front, there's an enabling crew behind the scenes. I wanted to say thank you to our water treatment group. I want to say thank you to our water operations group, to our engineering and technical staff, to our communications team, to our demand management team, and the many planning, safety, and supporting functions that enabled us to get to this moment. So again, a final thank you to Team Calgary. This is the end of the beginning. We still have some journey to go, but together we're going to continue to meet this moment. Thank you again. And unfortunately, I am off to continue our public hearing of City Council, but GM Thompson will be very available for you for follow-up questions, and I'll be available at noon at the scrum.
Any questions?
GM Thompson, just two quick ones for me. Can you just tell me a little bit about the maintenance and surveillance work, I guess, that's going to start about a week from now, and what that might look like?
Yeah, so questions about what inspection work is coming up next week. And so that inspection work is where we'll be inspecting the steel part of the Bearspaw Feeder Main, which runs from the Bearspaw Water Treatment Plant to approximately 87th Street. And we will be using a mechanical inspection tool. We've used it before, the pipe diver inspection tool. This time it will be fitted out to inspect the steel portion of the pipe instead of the PCCP portion of the pipe that it previously inspected. The crews have prepared for this inspection while the pipe was out of service. We need water flowing through the pipe to be able to do that inspection, and we will be doing that next week. We'll be back to Calgarians with more details prior to that work, and then once that work's completed, we'll let you know.
You were able to complete this project a little bit ahead of the 4-week schedule that you originally budgeted. I mean, maybe what did you learn over the last 24 days that gives you confidence that you can undergo the 4-year replacement project in 25% of the time?
Yeah, so question about the what we've learned and also where the status of the replacement project. And so maybe I'll start with the status of the replacement project first. That project is on schedule. I was on site on Friday of last week. Crews are working tremendously hard to get that work done by December. If you go out into the community now, you will see major construction happening across the community. By the Shouldice Park, you'll see stockpiling of large concrete pipes, which are now starting to be installed underground. Last week, crews started with the first micro tunneling machine actually installing pipe. This week, the second machine started operating and is installing pipe. And so we are on schedule to have that work done by December 1st. If anything changes, we will let you know as we move forward. Obviously, working underground is always the riskiest time for us when we're working on projects. We will encounter problems, but the teams will work to overcome them. If there's anything that's significant, like I said, we will let you know. The second piece of what did we learn during this reinforcement? We've done this before. Calgarians have done this before. I think we've all learned how do we stay in the green zone as a community by taking simple actions. And so again, a huge thank you to Calgarians for taking those actions. And then the crews have learned how to do this work quickly and efficiently. And so they worked, like the mayor said, through really difficult conditions, a lot of snow, a lot of challenging weather as we were doing this work. And just a huge thank you to the crews, the construction crews, the contractors, the teams across the city that were literally working day and night to get this work done. Everyone knows how important it is for Calgarians to have clean, safe drinking water, and they're so committed, and we are so committed to ensuring that we're delivering that for Calgarians.
Can you speak to whether how do you measure that?
So question about the effectiveness of the restrictions. And so I would just say, as you look, Calgarians were able to stay in the green zone throughout the majority of these planned reinforcement work. And the effectiveness of that was it gave us time to do some maintenance on the Glenmore water treatment plant, to keep that water treatment plant treating the volume of water that we needed to deliver the majority of water for the community. It allowed us to keep those underground storage tanks full so that when there were emergencies, like I mentioned, we had a number of large fires that used large amounts of water very quickly. We had additional water main breaks. We were able to respond to those emergencies and keep the water flowing to your taps during that usage. And so were these actions that Calgarians took effective? Yes. It allowed us to keep the system operating as we needed to for the last 3.5 weeks. And so just a huge thank you to Calgarians for those actions you were taking.
Obviously that threshold was a little bit higher this time, but is there anything that the city did differently in terms of communication that you think maybe helped that message of the need to save water hit home for Calgarians?
Yeah, so a question of what did we do differently, and a huge thank you to our communications teams to really work to get the message out consistently, every day pushing messaging out through our social media channels. Really interesting ideas, like I was driving across the city seeing signs on pedestrian bridges about saving water, using our variable message boards to get that thank you and that message out to Calgarians. And really the effectiveness of clear communications you can see from our team communications. I think they did a fantastic job, and I have to thank the media for being here consistently with us throughout this entire process, helping us get the message out to Calgarians, and thanking Calgarians in the community for sharing those actions that they were taking with their neighbours, their co-workers, their families, and their friends, so that as a community, we were all working together to stay in the green zone and to support our community.
I'm wondering what, if any, communication administration has had with David Goldie or with anyone else involved in the formal inspection ordered by the province.
So question about the formal inspection by the process. We have met with the inspector, David Goldie. We had a kickoff meeting with Inspector Goldie last week. We're looking forward to working with the inspector, providing the information he needs to do his inspection and his work as we go forward through the year.
Has he requested any further documents or interviews with officials or anything else?
So as I mentioned, we've had a kickoff meeting with Inspector Goldie. He has a lot of work ahead of him. He's got a lot of documents. We've sent over 6,000 documents to the province that the inspector will be looking through, as well as previous reports like the independent panel report that was presented to council in January of this year. So lots of documents and work that I know he's starting working through.
Any other questions?
Yeah, will the large bags upon the bike trail be removed now that the construction, so those large sandbags along the bike paths?
Yeah, so the questions around the sandbags that we have on Parkdale Boulevard, between Parkdale Boulevard and the Bull River. And as I've mentioned before, we installed those sandbags so that if the pipe does break in that area, those sandbags will direct the water to the Bull River instead of having that water be directed towards the community of Parkdale. So we'll be leaving those in place as we do our work, as we install the replacement pipe, and then we will look to remove those bags once it's safe for the community.
Does the city foresee any water stoppages in the area? I know restrictions are lifted, but just if that was to happen, how does the city kind of react and support businesses as well?
So question about maybe additional impacts coming up for businesses in the future. And so we experience between 200 and 300 water main breaks a year across the city. And so I would expect we will see additional water main breaks continuing throughout the year. They're typically smaller. We come in and we work to restore service as quickly as possible. We provide temporary water wagons to support the community and businesses as we go forward. And for more information on that, you can go to calgary.ca. We have a website of active water main breaks there so that the community can stay up to date with work happening across the city.
What's the next few step and when is the next important deadline?
So question on what's the next step. And so right now we're really excited to be lifting water restrictions after the 9 reinforcement sites that were just completed. As we go forward, if everything goes well throughout the summer, we will be back to you in the fall as we plan to take the water feeder main out of service again to connect the new replacement pipe to the existing system. Once we have details on that work, we will let you know, and we will be back to talk to you. And we will continue with updates on the replacement pipe project throughout the summer as we go forward. It is a very busy summer for us. We will be working extremely hard on that replacement pipe to have that back in that project completed by December of this year, so that once and for all we can be comfortable as a community as we go forward and not have to worry about this terminally ill pipe that we have right now.
Really quickly, are there contingency plans in place? Like, what if this happens during big festivals like the Stampede, for example? What if we have to go back into water restrictions? How does the city kind of adjust if that were to happen?
And so question about what happens if this pipe breaks through the summer. And that's why we're being very clear and transparent with everyone so that you know this pipe could break again this summer. And so we need everyone to be ready for that. So we're talking to our partners that are running large festivals. We're talking to associations across the city to make sure everyone is aware of that. And I'm asking residents and businesses to be prepared yourselves. We had plans, you had plans in place in the summer and the fall of 2024 when we had the plan shut down to do those repairs. You should be dusting those plans off, looking at those plans, and just being ready in case this pipe does break again, so that you're ready to respond in your home and in your businesses as we go forward.
So what kind of conversations have been ongoing about construction in the Bowness area and maybe with the community resource centers? How have those conversations been ongoing, especially when it comes to impacts of residents' experience?
Yeah, thank you. So the question is around the construction of the segment of the feeder main that we'll be doing in the community of Bowness. And that's really from the Sarcee Trail interchange area up to 89th Street. And we will be doing that using open cut method. That will be down 34th Avenue primarily. And we have been out talking to businesses and residents, letting them know what that work looks like, what we're anticipating. We have set up a community resource center at the Bowness Community Association so that businesses and residents have a place to go to get more information. We've held open houses and town halls with businesses and residents to share information. And as we get more information around what that work looks like and what the timing is, we'll be sharing that. We'll be doing that work in phases along 34th Avenue, so it will directly impact residents for a period of time while we're in front of their home, and then we will be moving along that 34th Avenue. And more information will be shared publicly as we have that available. You can go to calgary.ca. We have a full web page dedicated to that project and sharing information with Calgarians as we go forward. And just, again, a huge thank you to the residents of Bowness. We know this project will be impactful for residents living on 34th Avenue, and we're extremely thankful for their understanding and their patience as we've been out talking to them. They understand. No one's happy that we're in this situation, but everyone understands how important it is for the city of Calgary and our regional communities, and everyone is supportive of getting this work done this year.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.